Battlefield 6 has been out for nearly 2 months now, and the dust over its very hyped launch has finally settled as other games like Ark Raiders and Escape from Tarkov entered the mix. In order to keep people interested in Battlefield 6, the developers are promising some huge changes are coming to the game very soon, such as huge audio overhaul, fixing of the quick switching of the classes which can happen with the hotkeys Q and E, absolutely massive netcode fixes, and more in today's video. If you're still playing Battlefield 6 and you wish to support a smaller creator, I do non-sponsored content for this game, then please leave a like and subscription for future content. Thank you so much for your consideration. It is absolutely no secret that the audio in Battlefield 6, including its Battle Royale RedSec, has been a hit and miss. Footstep audio is seemingly missing from the game in many situations. The vehicles sometimes produce no noise. I'm sure you guys have faced no audio tanks and infantry fighting vehicles before. For many people, it's definitely a constant problem in Battlefield 6. Personally, many of my friends stopped playing Battlefield 6 for now because they're waiting for some audio fixes to happen. I'm very happy to announce that one of the DICE developers confirmed that the entire game audio is receiving a full pass to solve those issues, including fixing some issues that cause some sounds to completely be cut out. We're still working on it and verifying the changes, but hoping we can share more details on that very soon. Most likely what we're gonna receive is one of those bi-weekly community updates they do on X, where they're gonna confirm what exactly they're doing with the audio. But considering he mentioned this is a full pass, so they're not just gonna look into one thing, the whole game is gonna get brand new audio, I'm assuming this update isn't gonna be live until at least December, when Phase 3 for Battlefield 6 Season 1 is out. So it's not happening soon, guys, but it's gonna happen, which is incredible for the longevity of the game and of course player retention. The other ever-present problem in Battlefield 6 is of course the netcode, and the devs are hard at work on that topic as well, fixing netcode, hitrec, dying behind cover, these things. We have a bunch of improvements lined up, but since those areas are very sensitive, we need to validate them quite a bit before they can make it into a patch. We'll make sure to share more about this whenever possible, and it's definitely a bit of a painful area right now. If we are gonna talk about player retention, having bad netcode in a first-person shooter, in my opinion, first-person shooters are inherently competitive because the objective of the enemy team is to shoot you in the head in all these games. And when that feels kinda bad as it does in Battlefield 6 currently, especially in a game which has extremely fast time to kill, when we have weapons that have 3 bullets to kill, that shoot at 800 rounds per minute, dying behind cover to these weapons, getting one framed, getting these things feels absolutely horrible in the game currently. When you combine that with the bad audio and the horrible visibility the game currently has, you definitely have retention killer problems at your hands. I'm very happy the devs are fixing all those things, but I have to throw some flack at them. What were they doing in the Battlefield Labs era? I made a video after the Battlefield 6 open beta where I pointed out some of those problems feel like the game is getting rushed. I got a lot of flack for that video myself, a bunch of people said I'm an idiot, I don't know what I'm talking about, but now it seems I definitely had some merit. Why did these problems never get tested in Battlefield Labs is my question. I'm pretty sure the Battlefield Labs NDA is over. If you were in Battlefield Labs, let me know down in the comment section. Did they ever test any of those problems that are currently plaguing Battlefield 6? I have never heard they've ever addressed netcode or audio problems in it. So I feel like EA has definitely ignored those problems and rushed the game out to hit their huge sale numbers. Now here are a couple of fixes which are for sure gonna happen next patch. The switch class hotkey buttons, so Q and E, will be removed. I don't know how many times I spawned as a class I didn't want to spawn as because I pressed one of those hotkeys on my keyboard because they're bound to something else usually in other games. They're gonna remove that, thank you so much. The mouse sensitivity slider only moves in round numbers is also gonna get fixed. Currently on the live client you cannot actually adjust the decimals of your sensitivity, which is a little bit annoying. And they're also gonna fix the weapon optics randomly switching to thermal. This fix was actually supposed to happen last patch, but didn't make it in. Florian also cleared up a bunch of misconceptions with the thermal scope in the game. He says smoke grenades are the key tool for the game's flow. Being able to see through them would really not be fun for everyone and make thermals the best optic by far. It's already extremely good as it makes soldier visibility so much better. Also, smokes blocking thermal imaging is actually a thing. I'm guessing he's referring to real life scenarios. I actually fully agree with him. I'm pretty sure we learned our lesson with Battlefield 4 and MG4 light machine gun with thermals, which could see through smoke on Locker and Metro and made those maps pretty much miserable, which meant if you really wanted to push anywhere on those maps in Battlefield 4, you would have to run the flares to block some of the thermal imaging, rendering the smoke grenades pretty much worthless in that game. So all these fixes are very welcome. An ex-DICE developer has some problems with Battlefield 6. He claims because Battlefield has gone in so many different directions, it has multiple types of players where many are incompatible with one another. It's impossible to make a game that fits everyone. I hope for Battlefield 7 they just go fully into one direction. I have been saying this for a long time, especially during the Labs era when I covered Labs from start to finish. First, Battlefield 6, in my humble opinion, has just way too many game modes, and with each update that happens to the game, and by update I mean the content drops, they add even more game modes. And many of those game modes, in my opinion, have nothing to do with Battlefield. Yes, I know people claim that Sabotage, Gauntlet, and of course Battlefield 6 Battle Royale RedSec are somehow Battlefield, but they really aren't when you think about it. When you see what type of players are actually playing those game modes, what type of creators are playing those game modes, you can clearly tell those people don't actually care about the Battlefield 6 multiplayer experience at all. And when you actually do feel like watching Battlefield 6 streams and you want to find somebody who is playing multiplayer, the people who are playing multiplayer are going to be the familiar faces that have been streaming and covering the game for the past 10 years or more. And it's not going to be these people who just jump games because they're getting paid to cover them. And because these creators do that, you're going to have players who come from other games hopping into Battlefield to play it for a little bit. This is what happened with all the Call of Duty refugees that everybody has been kind of meme naming them, the Milsim fans from Arma, and so much more. And when you combine all of those players with us, the more classic Battlefield players into the mix, you're gonna get a game which just is made for nobody basically. It's just a game that exists and it has kind of a little bit for everyone, but it's not really tailored in any real direction, which means the game is never gonna be amazing in any direction. It's just always gonna be kind of mid, if it makes sense, and I think this is what this ex-DICE developer was pointing towards. I think the prime example of that can also be the open weapons versus the closed weapon debate, which is now of course pretty much dead because the DICE has obviously chose to go with the open weapons, but during the Battlefield Labs they were jumping between closed and open weapons so much and wasted so much time just trying to please everybody when they could have been fixing audio, visibility, netcode, that never dawned to them I guess at the time. But this is what happens when you have not a clear direction. But in my opinion, with business management in real life, this comes down to leadership. The leaders of Battlefield 6, so this will be the creative director, of course the owners, EA themselves, have also dropped the ball in that department. Remember, in the end, their goal with Battlefield 6 was to have the most amount of sales they have ever done with the franchise and to have the most amount of players online at a given time. Now, they have achieved those goals and made a lot of money, and hooray, but at what cost? The community has been fractured on all fronts because of the decision to go in so many directions at once. This is why many regions are already reporting, even though the game has so many players online, apparently in Oceania, the Middle East, South Africa, they cannot even find a full server anymore of players. It's basically bots only. Even in Europe myself, which is usually the most populated region for the Battlefield 6 base game, I'm finding bots here and there, and because the community is just filled with incompatible players, just like that ex-DICE developer said, which means they're all playing all the game modes at once, and the base game of Battlefield 6, the multiplayer, is suffering because of this. And that about sums up today's news for Battlefield 6. If you enjoyed watching this video, then likes are appreciated. If you want to watch honest content about Battlefield 6, non-sponsored takes, then subscribe. I'm your guy. Thank you so much, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.